Today is our first episode of Real Talk for Directors and Nurses. Real Talk DONs. I'm Michelle Carter, and I'm the owner of MCB Nurse Consultant. And I help directors and nurses in long-term care to overcome the exhaustion and frustration of having to do it all. Before we get started, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, MCB Nurse Consultant LLC. So let's talk about real life for directors and nurses. Today happens to be this week happens to be my work anniversary. On the 28th, I have hit 7 years in my position as a director of nursing at one community. Now, because of disclosure situations, I won't mention the community, but it is a great company that I do work for. But it has been, as a director nurse, I'm going to be honest, it has been a challenge. It has been a challenge, especially, coming into a new facility, coming into a new facility, not knowing anybody, me being the new person on the block, understanding the way they do things, and then not shortly after, 3 or 4 years in, we have a pandemic. And what do? Well, none of us knew what to do in a pandemic, but we knew not to abandon our team, and we knew not to abandon our residents. And that's something I'm very, very thankful for my nurses who stuck it in there through the pandemic. So it's every day, just give them a pat on the back for just doing that. But being a director of nursing for 7 years, it is rewarding. I love the team that I work with. I love my residents. I do enjoy my company. But I saw the struggle that other directors and nurses were having. And I know the struggles I had. And that's why I formulated my company, MCB Nurse Consultant, to help other directors and nurses. So today I want to talk about some real life struggles that directors and nurses go through. I know when I first started 7 years ago, one of the biggest issues for me was I was in the midst of coming from paper charting to computer charting, and I was totally lost. At that particular time, we did have a system called Matrix Care. I knew nothing about Matrix Care. I knew nothing about how to chart. I knew how to do nurses' notes, but had never truly had to pass meds with the EMR system. So that was a challenge for me. And another challenge was getting that buy-in and being able to connect with the team. And I can honestly say, I wish 7 years ago I had the use of personality science and the bank methodology, because I would have been able to connect with my team at a lot faster than what I did. Now, there were a couple nurses that, and I can understand where these nurses were coming from. They had gone through a lot of changes, a lot of different directors, nurses coming in and out of the building, interns, people that didn't stay, and they became very, very, very withdrawn and very protective of their community and their residents. And I've been on that side. I've been that nurse that, I don't know how long this director nurse is going to say. Why am I going to put my efforts into them? I have to take care of my residents. And because I was a nurse on the floor prior, I was able to understand that. And those are the nurses that I really, really honed in on the most and tried to get to know them coming in, because they needed that security. Your team wants security. They want to feel that leadership is there for them. It's just like I use a comparison of a director of nursing being a captain of a ship. And you have all your shipmates, your sailors, your lifeguards, and everybody's on your ship. Well, if there's no captain to guide them, they're going to just aimlessly wander through the sea. Some of them are going to jump off, and then some of them are going to try to keep the boat together. Well, we had those nurses that were trying to keep the boat together, and they wanted to do things the way they wanted to do things. And I'm not saying what they were doing were wrong, but was it following the policies and procedures? Because a lot of times the nurses on the floor are thinking about today, what I need to do today. As a director of nursing, we have to think about what needs to be done today, what needs to be done tomorrow, and how this is going to affect us 5 days down the road or 6 months down the road. And what did we do yesterday? So we have to think about all that. So I had to really, really hone in with those particular team members. And, going to the neighborhoods, the units or neighborhoods, whatever you may call it in your organization, and getting that and being able to sit and talk to them and understand why they feel the way they do and giving them that sense of security. I know our jobs are very, very challenging. I'm not going to sit here and say being a director of nursing is easy. It's not. And I understand sometimes why people leave. But in the same sense, when you're leaving, you have to really think about, why am I leaving? Is it because it's just too hard? Or is it because it's hard and I don't have the guidance to get over it? Because if you leave a director of nursing job from a building A and go to building B, you're still going to have the same challenges eventually. But if you stay at building A and build your team up and give that consistency, you will see great outcomes, and your team will see great outcomes, and your team will grow to trust you and be able to work better for you. And I think that's a lot of things directors of nurses do not see. The consistency is the key to strong leadership, and the consistency is the key to outcomes, great outcomes. But being that new director of nursing, you want to build those connections. You want to look at your policies and procedures. You want to build those connections. But one of those biggest challenges is building the connections. If you don't get your connections built in the beginning, it's going to be harder for you to implement things because they don't have that buy-in. Again, I wish I had learned the bank methodology years ago, but I didn't. But I know it now, and I'm able to teach it and help directors and nurses learn the bank methodology so you can get that, learn your team at a faster pace and being able to connect with them at a faster pace. And that's something that we teach in our cohort. But just being new is just overwhelming. When I first started this community, it is a very, very wonderful, wonderful community. Wonderful company. And I can say our company truly, truly, truly loves and takes and put the residents first in every aspect. But I came from a company who didn't. And I'm going to be honest. My first 2 weeks, I would go home and cry. And I would cry for the people and the residents that I left when I took this opportunity. I took the opportunity because it was a better opportunity for me. And it was a better work environment for me. But I felt bad for the residents that I left, that it was an inner-city building. They really didn't have a company that truly cared about them. They didn't have supplies. And I felt bad. I truly, truly, truly felt bad. And I wanted to figure a way how to give back. So we try to work out, can we give old wheelchairs? Can we give wheelchairs that we don't need? Can we take it back? Can we talk about giving clothes to them? You got to kind of, it does hurt you when you're in buildings that the company truly doesn't care about the residents and you're putting your all in. But then those residents have to be taken care of too. And I had to have a good friend. One of my mentees had to tell me that, years later. I said, I don't want to work for bad companies ever again. She's like, but somebody has to. Somebody still has to take care of the residents. So if you are in a bad company, but you're taking care of your residents, you got to find a way how you can make it better. Make it better for your team. Make it better for yourself until it comes to that point that you just have to, this isn't for me. But staying with that consistency will help you get to that level. So that was a big challenge for me. Another big challenge for me was just learning person-centered care. I didn't come from person-centered care. My company, that is the basis of our philosophy, is person-centered care. We didn't do that in the other facilities I worked in. So I had to learn how to do person-centered care, and I absolutely love it. I love person-centered care. I'm so happy that CMS is trying to enforce that, tried to encourage that in our facilities. I think it is doable as long as you have a company to back you. It's truly hard to do person-centered care when you don't have companies, your organization to back you. But that was a challenge for me. But I made it. I made it. I made it 7 years. I cannot believe I made it 7 years. And And I sit back and I look and it's like, wow. You know, I was talking to my supervisor, my daylight supervisor, and I was telling her, I said, you know, this week is my 7-year anniversary. She said, Michelle, you've been our longest DON. I said, I can't believe it. I just truly can't believe it. But I'm a testimony, it can be done. It can be done. That consistency, that resilience, it can be done. I did not want to leave my team and my residents during COVID. I don't want to leave my team and residents until it's time for God to move me to the next direction as I built my company up. But I'm very thankful for my team, and I'm thankful that I was able to make those connections early on. So my 3 tips for you as a brand new director of nursing, when you're going into your buildings, understand your challenges, and it's okay to have them. Embrace them. Build connections with your team. That's the most important thing. Build connections with your team. And it's okay to be a little scared. It's fine. It's okay to be scared. You're going to go through challenges. It's going to take you a minute to fix what you don't know even's broken. You know, I was working at one facility prior to this, and I don't want to stay on here too much longer. One facility prior to this, and me and my ADON, we were there for 6 months, and we were still finding people. Now, this was prior to COVID, back in 2014 and 15. We were still finding out from our managers, who didn't even tell us, as we're starting to go through charts and really get to know the residents and really going deep dive into our IDT meetings, that residents still had hand meds 6 months in. So listen, you're not going to fix everything overnight, and don't try to. You go in there, you build your team, you get those relationships, and you figure out what is the most important thing that's broken, and you start fixing that. Remember, you're not in it alone. You got me. You can always reach out, call me. I'm here to help directors and nurses to get over that hump. We have all been through it, and we are here to help. I'm part of an organization called Nurses Feed Their Young. And that is time that other director nurses, we have to help our new directors and nurses coming in, help our inexperienced directors and nurses coming in, helping our directors and nurses who are just stuck and where they're at and how to get to the next level. And I'm living proof it can happen. 7 years, everybody. I made it 7 years in one facility. If I could do it, you could do it. And I just want to let you know, we're here. We are going to be having this Real Talk on our YouTube channel once a week. If you have, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel so you can talk real talk information about just being being a director of nursing. Next week, and I kind of wanted to talk about it this week, but I wanted to talk about my anniversary. But next week, we're going to be talking about the struggles that directors and nurses are going through as our children are going back to school. So I can't wait to see you next week. Have a great week, and stay strong, stay blessed, and stay committed to the journey that God has you on. Talk to you soon.